Here is 4.5 test review. We are doing the x and y intercepts here for number 1. The first thing you need to do is to factor both the numerator and the denominator. For the numerator, we do have a -2 that can be factored out, so I will write -2 and then factor that out. I get x plus 2 because -4 divided by -2 is +2. And for the denominator, I can use product sum rule, diamond method, or quad 3 on the calculator. And I will get x plus 2 times x minus 1. 2 times -1 is -2, and 2 plus -1 is +1 for the middle term. Okay, now when I do this, what I have to notice here is that I have x plus 2 on the top and the bottom. So that needs to cross out. And what's left is -2 over x minus 1. And now I find my x and y intercepts. For my x-intercepts, I set the numerator equal to 0, and I have -2 equal to 0. Well, that's not possible. So therefore, there are no x-intercepts. For my y-intercepts, I plug in the value of 0, and I have -2 over 0 minus 1, which is -2 over -1, which is 2. So my y-intercept is y equals 2. And that's for number 1. Here for number 2, I need to factor. And again, I will factor the quadratic using product sum rule, diamond method, or quad 3. And I will get x minus 4 times x plus 3. For the denominator, I get 4 times x minus 3. Nothing can cancel out here, so I can go ahead and find my x and y intercepts. My x-intercept will be setting the numerator factors, both of them, equal to 0. So x minus 4 equal to 0, I will get x equals 4. And with x plus 3 equals 0, I get x equals -3. So those are my x-intercepts. For my y-intercept, I will plug in x equals 0. I can plug into either the factored rational function or the original rational function. I like to go with the original. So when I plug in 0, it will just give me 0 for any terms that have x. So I end up with 0 minus 12 over 0 minus 12. So my zeros obviously are 0. So I get -12 over -12. So my y-intercept is 1. Now I will go down to the number 3 and 4 for the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So again, I need to factor. So I will get x plus 4 over x minus 3 times x plus 2. Nope, x plus 1. And now I can find my asymptotes. For my vertical asymptote, VA, I set the denominator factors equal to 0. So I will get x minus 3 equals 0 to get x equals 3. And x plus 1 equals 0 to get x equals -1. For the horizontal asymptote, I have to pay attention to the degree of the numerator, which is 1, and the degree of the denominator, which is 2. This is n on the top and m on the bottom. Since n is less than m, my horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Every single time that the numerator degree is less than the denominator degree, your horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Now I go on to number 4. I factor out x for the numerator. I am left with x plus 3. For the denominator, I'm going to factor out a negative 1 first because I have a negative out in front. And then that gives me x squared minus x minus 2. Now I could use product sum, diamond method, or quad 3. And I get x times x plus 3 over negative 1 times x minus 2 times x plus 1. For my vertical asymptote, I will set the denominator factors equal to 0. I do not need to worry about any constants that are factored out, just the variable expressions. So x minus 2 equals 0. I will get x equals 2. And x plus 1 equals 0. And I will get x equals negative 1. And for my horizontal asymptote, my n value is 2. My m value is also 2. Anytime they are equal, I look to the coefficients, which I have y equals 1 over negative 1. So y is equal to negative 1. So that is how you will find the x and y intercepts and the vertical and horizontal asymptotes.